I got Rhyce Records with me here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Good, good, thank you. He was nice enough to carry my bag up here, so we're already gonna go and subscribe to him right away.
Yeah, please do.
I'll put your link in the description too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you want to tell some people about your music maybe? Because I've heard your music,
Sure.
but I've not had a ton of you on the channel
Yeah,
yet.
for sure. I can start with kind of my entry into nerdcore,
Yeah.
how I got involved. And so I think like most people, when COVID hit, we were all like looking for something to do. I'd been very into music my whole life. I grew up with parents that were professional theater actors, and so we moved around quite a bit, singing in the house all the time, dancing, but very theatrical.
Okay.
And my early music, very theatrical. Like you can hear it in my All for One song where it's pretty much just like a theater show arc,
Yeah.
which is cool. People like that, but it wasn't what I was going for. So yeah, COVID hit. I was like, man, I got introduced to Divide because his Asta song Clover came out. And it just got pushed to me randomly. I'd never heard of nerdcore before. I'd never heard any of that, or I'd probably heard it. I just didn't know. And I listened to that on a repeat, and I was like, "This has got to be a band. This can't just be one person." And lo and behold, it was one guy, and he
Doing
was
all of it.
doing all of it, right? And that was insane. And I was like, well, if he can do it, maybe I can learn how to do it and start to learn and put stuff together. And so I got really hell inspired. I was home, I was working from home, and I just started making music and making beats and producing. And then at the time, I didn't even know people made beats to do it. And so I was like, it was a whole thing. But so that's how I kind of got into nerdcore, found the community, and really evolved from there. A lot of my music now is more, I would say, pop, R&B, rock focused. But definitely still, again, very inspired by anime. I do some games, but they don't do well on my channel because of how YouTube works. But the algorithm,
We all hate it.
all that
Every
stuff.
creator hates it.
For sure. But that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I love it. My dream is to someday perform at NPC and be on the stage.
I think you can make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be sooner than you think as well.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, you mentioned that this happened throughout COVID. For me, it was about the same thing. I had more free time and working from home and stuff. I thought, you know what, let me do some reactions because discovered Nerdcore around that time as well. Maybe 2019.
2019 is around when I found it too. That was kind of that period. Or it was like late 2019, early 2020.
So I think I knew about Nerdcore back then, but I didn't know it was called Nerdcore.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then by the time I figured out what it was, and it was like at first I thought it was just separate songs about different things, and I didn't know it was like a genre and a subgenre in itself.
Yeah.
I think that was like 2021-ish. And at that point, I saw that there weren't many people showcasing this, at least in the reaction community. There's like maybe 2 or 3. And I thought, I love this music. I love the combination of just entertainment that I consume and music about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested in seeing, at least for me, no matter what artist and what space, I'm very interested in seeing where you start and seeing you level up. And I said this to McGuire, it just felt like I'm cheering for the underdog team in a way, right? And as I react to all of you
Yeah.
year after year, I see the improvement, and it's just like that part I enjoy just as much as the music.
Wow.
So a question for you, when you stepped into Nerdcore, what were you doing before that?
Yeah, before this, I went to school for engineering, then business, got a
Smart guy,
marketing
though.
degree, minored in finance, right? Did the whole college thing. Like I was saying, my parents were both professional theater actors, right? And so
How did you get
I was
into
going to
that,
go
then?
into theater,
Okay.
and my parents were both like, no, don't do it. There's no money in it, job security shit, right? All this stuff. And I was like, okay. But my junior year of high school, I did a show called Sweeney Todd, and I got to play Sweeney. And it was like this big part. I like to think I killed it. My dad came and saw me, and he said, son, I'm super proud of you. If you wanted to, you could do it professionally. Now, somebody who's been in the business for 25 years saying that is insane, right? It's my dad. And so I was like, I'm so proud. But I was like, Dad, it's too late. I'm already going to the U of M. And so I really got away from music for a long time, focused on studies, got married, did the whole 9 yards. And then, yeah, music just came back into my life in this big way. I got super inspired, like never before. I had listened to a lot of music like everybody else, but I'd never seen somebody do it like Divide or like Fable or like, putting it all together themselves and doing it from home. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do more of. And so I set up like a little small studio in my house. As you start, right, a little basement room. I like ripped the bed out of our basement office, and I was like, nobody's using this. And then I like took it out of the house, set my whole computer up as my like office for work, and then I could just swap out my computers. And so then I got a Mac, and like kind of the rest is history. So now I'm still trying to build out my studio.
Piece by piece, right?
Piece by piece, you got it. It's so expensive, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a little about me, but I still do work in the corporate world, and that's how I make enough money to sort of support this,
Yep.
right? Yeah, so you get it. You totally get it.
Yeah. When you talk about engineering and going to college and all that and finance, like I did basically biology and then I switched to finance for myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like in terms of workload and how you study for those things and how you work in those fields, I think we might have.
I think we've got
connection
similar
there.
history. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that it's amazing to me the amount of extra energy it takes to have your job and work in that world, which tends not to be as creative.
Yeah.
And then have to make some time, right? And get that time commitment outside of it, as well as you being married and all those things going around at the same time. How do you juggle all that?
It's a great question, and I think you said it in your sort of question there, which is you make time for it, right? It's never you're going to find time, right? You're going to always fill that time with video games, which I still do a lot of. PS5, shout out, Elden Ring right now. But yeah, so you fill it with those things. If you schedule it out, and again, corporate world, right? Everything's on a calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not getting done. Let's be honest, guys, right? And so I block out
with
time.
Follow-ups.
Yeah, with follow-ups.
Reminders, all of it.
Meetings before the meetings, for the meetings. But how can I take that sort of positioning and apply it to my home life? So to make sure I'm blocking off this afternoon to be with my wife, my dog, like I'm gonna spend that family time. But in exchange for that, tomorrow I'm gonna do an hour, 2 hours of music for just myself. And having that conversation with your partner or with whoever is in your life is super, super important, because then they know I'm doing it for me at this point, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be doing this every day forever, because for a while, let's be honest, when I was doing weekly releases, it was work and then no family time. So having to balance all those things is really important to schedule, to stick to that schedule. And I think that can sometimes make you even more creative, because you realize, okay, I'm set time and I'm thinking about it. But that doesn't mean when I'm out working in the gardens or showering that the line doesn't come to me and I'm like, shit, I gotta get out of the shower. Or you can just sing it over and over again so that you can remember it. And yeah, that's how I try to balance it. And I've gotten better over time. I think releasing less frequently, but trying to make the song even more impactful, it has been really helpful.
Yeah, I think that's very important too. At least personally, what I struggle with is that time thing, right? Because I do a lot of reactions, but I'm trying to do some other content too that I've been working on and practicing behind the scenes.
Like what? Anything sneak peek for the fans here?
Yeah. I did a road trip coming all the way here.
Okay.
Like 14-hour drive.
Oh my
insane
gosh.
drive. And I'm just making a whole type of vlog type video of the whole trip, the pit stops and tons of filming, great shots. But that requires creativity, right? From a filmmaking standpoint versus a reaction where I basically interpret creativity. So I'm not doing too much there.
Yeah. It's documenting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So now that I have to be creative as well, I feel like I'll have an idea for a scene or I'll have an idea for a skit. And I don't know if I can come up with those ideas just giving me a time frame.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like sometimes it hits me and I'm like, shit, I just need to stop and get this done right now.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to step away just because it has to happen?
Every day. Sometimes I will literally be in a meeting for work, to be clear, and like something will come to me and I'll go off video because I work from home, right? So a lot of Zoom meetings. I'll go off video, type it out, sing it out, and then somebody will say my name and I'll like come back on and be like, oh, sorry, I just had to get water or something. No, that happens all the time. I think that's just being a creative person. I think of it as like a battery, right? And sometimes that battery supercharges and then you gotta just use it. Otherwise it's gonna go away, it's just gonna fade. And then the blocks times is, okay, I've got enough time, I've got enough creative juices, let's think about it. But what I tell a lot of people who want to get into it and who struggle with that consistency is really just the fact that you have to sit down, you have to do it, you have to do it every day.
Go ahead.
But you have to be really, really consistent with it. And sometimes just opening the DAW, opening the whatever music system you use, FL, Studio One, etc., is enough. It's like going to the gym. You just gotta get there. And then you can turn around and leave. Just badge in, badge out, right? Just do it for the money back on your healthcare. But when you're there, you've spent all the time to get there. You're like, I might as well do a few curls. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll run on the treadmill. Oh, now more. I'm like, let me do it. Right. So the more and more you do that, the more reps you put in, the more comfortable you become. And then you can do those off the cuff things and be like, I recorded a song in a day sometimes, or in 2 hours. Like you hear Dizzy does that sometimes, where some of my best songs I did in 2 hours. And if you're really struggling with something, sometimes that's all it takes. It's just sitting down, be consistent, and do it.
The battery analogy you use, I really messed with that. That fits perfectly.
Good.
I don't want to take too much of your time. So what's your favorite song that you've released from yourself, of course?
Oh my gosh. So my more favorite recent release has got to be Dotted Line. So I made this song with Freest was producing on it. Shout out Freest, amazing producer, amazing artist, lyricist extraordinaire.
Yes.
And they produced this electro swing beat that was so inspiring, really sent me. And it was for an Alistair track, right? So it's like Sign on the Dotted Line. So I made this whole chorus around it. I was so proud of the chorus. It bangs. And it's got 82,000 views. So it's one of the first
times. It popped off, I saw that.
Yeah, it's one of the first times, thank you for anybody who's watched it. If not, go check it out. But it's one of the first times where I've loved the song and it's done really well. Because a lot of times I love the song and it does bad. Or I hate the song and it does really good.
I hate that one.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It frustrates the heck out of me. Like that All For One song, I was saying, I didn't want it to be theatrical, and it was. And then people loved it. And I was like, okay, thanks for the money, I guess. But it's one of those things that you just got to get comfortable in the reps. But yeah, so I'd say my favorite song is probably Dotted Line. And then the one that I really, I self-produced, I wrote, it's a reminder of the second song I ever wrote was my Kurogiri track, Shadows of My Mind. And my original concept for it was all super good, and I wrote it on guitar, and then I just recently remade it. And that was a really cool, awesome moment, because then, spoiler alert, Kurogiri is also that other character from Vigilantes.
Yes.
And so I used then that image for this remaster.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like that through
see.
line. So it's super cool.
That's creative.
That's
Okay.
my answer.
Yeah. All right, but thank you. I will put all this just stuff in the description below. You can check that out. Please subscribe to him. Let him know I sent you. I hope you do. If there's one view, for every view here, there has to be a subscriber.
Well, if you do, thank you so much. Again, I'm Rhyce Records, and thank you to you for having me on today.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, brother.
Sir, were you filming something?
Oh, you?
Oh, no, it's fine.
way
We're
good.
just done.
No idea.
We're in a public space. It's on
Yeah,
us.
exactly.